handing somebody a cell phone is an opportunity to get a job. It's an opportunity to call back your employer. There is no more public phones, so you can't just ask them to shove them in the public phones. They've been reduced by 90% in this country, so I think there should be a program, but every American who has a cell phone to pay $3 without being asked, that's not American in my book.
I mean, and all of the wars are contrived, all of the wars that we fight are contrived. I mean, people that listen to this show should know that they're all contrived. None of the wars that we've fought in the last 200 years have been fought on any of the reasons that they gave us for these wars to have been fought.
So they don't know what to do with someone like me, and they say, well, how can a Democrat sue a Democrat? And I say, well, the most important factor is the U.S. Constitution. That's more important than any political party.
Pakistan's Interior Minister stated Wednesday that up to 8 out of 10 people killed in U.S. drone strikes inside his country are completely innocent civilians. Malik told reporters that only 20% of those killed in drone attacks were militants. 2,300 people killed in 333 airstrikes is what he said the total was. And 96 of those drone strikes were cross-border attacks that were launched from Afghanistan. He believes hundreds of children have been killed in these drone attacks. And this is all in our name, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone out there, we're all complicit in this because we are not making our government stop.
Basically, it says if you like to express yourself through painting, writing, music, anything creative, a creative outlet, then now, according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, you have a mental illness, which contains over 900 pages of mental disorders, which even the person who wrote, the lead editor of the DSM, the fourth version of that's coming out, says that there is no definition of mental disorders.
Mavi Marmara was attacked by the Israelis was simply a logical extension of what I believe, and that is that if we want to change the world, if we want to affect a better world, if we believe in brotherhood, if we believe in human rights across the spectrum, then we damn well should put it on the line and act in accord with what we say are our beliefs.
There's definitely a pampered class that exists, and they are not ready for any kind of major disruption. And I think when the economic world alone falls apart for them, that they're going to fall apart emotionally. They're just going to lose it, basically.
U.S. military to operate on American soil. They can arrest American citizens and cart them off to detention centers anywhere in the world, basically turning the entire homeland into a battlefield and allowing the military to arrest individuals and detain them indefinitely without trial. Now, this violates every aspect of a free society by denying Americans their constitutionally protected right to due process. What would you say to active military who might be told to enforce this bill?
Listen, I'm a veteran of the United States Army, 31 uniform, airborne, and I'll tell you what. Very simply, we take an oath to protect this country from threats, both foreign and domestic.
It's not good. It's not healthy for our democracy for the American Army to be involved.
For those people who say that, oh, it could never happen here, it could never happen to us, those are called the famous last words. Many times throughout history, situations have happened where governments have turned their military against its citizens. You know what? History repeats itself. If that eventuality does happen, you have to remind yourself that these are your brothers and sisters and neighbors and people you went to school with. And remember what you're truly fighting for. It's for our Constitution, not for these puppets who are actually our servants who have run amok.
And that's what the NDAA does, essentially, is it gives the government the power to crush dissent. In the end, that's really what it is doing, and it's also crushing journalism. And now, so the problem with the NDAA is, as you know, Alex, is every year it's reapproved and adjusted. And it's also attached to the salaries of our servicemen and women. So that little nugget makes it very difficult for a president to veto it, because then they blame the president that our service members aren't getting paid. Well, this year the NDAA is only getting worse, because now there are sections in it that are actually making it U.S. policy to go to war with Iran. In addition to that, they're allowing the U.S. government to directly feed the public war propaganda so that this war-weary public will approve of war.
You know, just but it shows the poverty of America, and
it really does, and that's the sad thing.
It is. It's funny, but it's sad. It really is, and I feel bad. I feel bad laughing at that girl because you know, what they've done to people. You know, what they stuck people down to this submissive. Oh, we got to depend on the government. There it is, right there.
Everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got on one phone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
Gave you a phone.
More.
How do you give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
I have a question. Okay, what's wrong with Romney again?
Romney, he sucks.
In the 30s, they used to have these old-fashioned posters that said 19,000 plus dentists advise you smoke Viceroys. And then if you flip it over on here, this is like from the 1930s, 20,000 plus physicians say Lucky's are less irritating. It's toasted. Well, there's a similarity here where dentists and doctors were pushing cigarette smoking, and now it's dentists and doctors and the CDC pushing the fluoride.
This type of fluoride-based acid has the CDC's highest danger rating of number 4. Again, it is in the most dangerous class of chemicals with an MSDS health rating of 4. Life-threatening, major or permanent damage may result from a single or repeated exposure. Organ failure, cancer, the list goes on and on, all purposely pumped into your water supply.
Where this American military imperial complex comes from at the end of the Second World War, the beginning of the Cold War. And so it's a 10-part series, and he deconstructs a lot of the myths about our history that we're taught in schools. And so I think it's a very important series for everyone to watch and to think twice about what we're being taught.
Just all sorts of unspeakable things, and you're right, a lot of the iconography you see around Halloween is highly occult. I mean, black cats, witches riding on broomsticks, the various things, the jack-o'-lantern, all of these things are symbols of pagan deities. And that's why, again, as believers, we're not supposed to be a part of the world system.
You erase what the system's told you, and you don't let the system's version of events be a constant 24/7 censor for anything outside of it, then the world looks a very different place, and your mind can now move. It's no longer in the prison cell of conformity. It's moving, it's expanding, it's getting insights, it's seeing things it didn't see before. And I found it very interesting that in 1984, in George Orwell's book, he made the point about history. And to summarize, he was basically saying, if you control history, you control the present. Because if you can manipulate and distort and outright lie about where we've come from, what we call history, then you are going to give people a totally distorted view of where they are.